Welcome everybody back into Nerd Sesh. As always, I'm Carson Bradburn. Alongside me is Logan Camden, and you already know the drill. We've got two game twos to talk about today. They were both phenomenal, but one Logan stood above the other, and that was the Los Angeles Clippers getting a huge win over the Denver Nuggets to even up that series, a series which I'm going to say at this point is on like a best first round series of all time kind of trajectory. Just like unbelievably wire to wire competitive basketball in both these games, such high quality stuff. And it ends up being Kawhi Leonard, Logan, who carries the Clippers through 39 points with 4 missed shots from the field. It is the seventh most efficient 35-point playoff game ever in terms of true shooting percentage. And of course, he hits the dagger to put the Clippers up 105-102 and hold on to win this game. As somebody, Logan, who has been a Clippers doubter and who has denied that Kawhi would even be healthy for this playoff run, what do you have to say for yourself?
Yeah, of course you had to be on some hater shit to start us out. I mean,
Nope,
yeah,
you
dude.
are the one who's been on hater shit with the Clippers all year.
Yeah, but you got to bring it up. Dude, Kawhi, this is one of the best basketball games I've ever seen a person play in the playoffs. Kawhi was unstoppable tonight.
He
I ain't
does
got
this.
nothing bad to say, bro. Like, we're here. I never doubted that Kawhi could play this good. I doubted that he was going to be here. Like, I'm in disbelief. This guy looks unstoppable. He was the basketball terminator tonight, and he was the best player on the court. That was the difference to me. The Nuggets could have won this game. I thought that the way the supporting pieces played with what you got out of MPJ tonight, what you got out of Westbrook, how they collectively rebounded and hustled, how Jamal played, I thought the Nuggets very well could have won this game. And in my opinion, needed to. I just think all these games in this series are going to be super crucial. And to lose this one in crunch time like this, I thought it was a very uncharacteristically poor Jokic performance
Yes.
in the clutch, man. 7 turnovers. I thought he just had some really bad. Uncharacteristic's the right word, man. Just like careless turnovers and careless moments in this game where I was scratching my head. He struggled from the free throw line, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought Harden played below his expectations. I thought you got an incomplete game out of Norman Powell. And so I just thought this was a very winnable game, and I'm kind of disappointed at Jokic and what we got out of him down the stretch, man. I thought the Nuggets had this one in their hands and in their grasp, but Kawhi put them over the finish line, man. Kawhi was not going to be denied tonight. Kawhi was the best player on the court, and
Yeah.
like, no lie, like that is one of the best playoff performances I've ever seen by any player ever.
It's one of the best scoring performances, especially. Like, this dude shot 15 of 19 from the field, and I believe he had one field goal attempt that was not a jump shot. He had one attempt at the rim. So he was 14 of 18 on jumpers. That is so stupid. Actually, I think he might have been 14 to 17 because he missed a layup. So, like, what do you even do with that, man? He is cooking Jamal Murray early in this game, but he's destroying everybody in single coverage. Like, it really doesn't matter. There's nobody who is physical enough on the planet, nobody who is strong enough to knock him off his spots, nobody who can speed him up in single coverage. And then he's just going to rise up and shoot over top of you. And Logan, I don't know how many times I've given this spiel about Kawhi Leonard over the years, but he's one of the greatest playoff scorers that we have ever seen. I recited these numbers so many times, but from 2017 to 2023 in the playoffs, Kawhi gave you 30 points per game on almost 64% true shooting. That is counting numerous deep playoff runs, and the consistency year to year is honestly unmatched among all playoff scorers in that time period. I would say that Jokic is the guy who makes the best case in terms of a scoring resume up against that. But when you can't speed a guy up, when he is always going to be stronger than you, and in a playoff environment, that is such an advantage when they allow more physicality, when he is so precise with his handle, and when he is that big and that insane as a jump shooter, like there's just nothing
I
you can
mean,
do. And so,
dude, he's just marching guys down to his spots and
yep,
rising above them. Like it's actually unstoppable.
zero wasted movement, and one of the most efficient scorers that we've ever seen, one of the most unaffectable scorers that we have ever seen in this game. So when he gets in that mode, like, you literally just have to double every possession. I'm not just talking blitz him out of pick and roll. That's obvious. I'm saying if he is looking at a dude in isolation, you double and you force him to make a decision and you leave Chris Dunn and you force the Clippers to beat you with a 4-on-3. Cause like, I'm just not letting a dude who is shooting 80% from the field continue to get whatever he wants against me. And honestly, if I'm the Clippers, like, I don't think you need to have Kawhi running much pick and roll because you just make it easier for Denver to bring that second defender into the action and pressure him and send two at him. Like, let him cook in isolation because he's getting whatever he wants every time down. But I got to say, man, the fact that they let him get a one-on-one look, even though it's against Aaron Gordon on that possession where he doesn't ice this game, but he scores the final bucket of the game, I just would have done anything to force the ball out of his hands. I'm sending two defenders at him. Like, you cannot let him be the one to put you away as a scorer because he struggled again with the double teams and the blitzes in this game. It maybe wasn't as bad in the first game when he had 7 turnovers, but still, he's uncomfortable at times against those looks. And I thought that it was a mistake to let him put them away, and that's exactly what he did, man. It's truly one of the great scoring performances that we've seen in the playoffs, and I agree with what you said about Jokic. This just was one of the sloppiest games that I've seen from him in a high stakes moment like this in the postseason. The 3 ball was money for him, and that was huge. We've talked about how key that's gonna be in this series for him, right? Pulling Zoo out into space, not feeling like he has the sort of normal advantage that he does out of the post because Zoo is the best Jokic defender there is. So he's inclined to play more from the perimeter. They're gonna give him some of those pick and pop looks, and like, he was hitting those, but honestly, that was the only thing that was really going at peak Jokic level. I thought his decision making was bad. There are a number of turnovers, of which he had 7, that are just like really inexcusable decisions. And you just have a couple of mental errors, like after he got the offensive rebound, forcing that shot up, not understanding the shot clock. Like, that's so uncharacteristic for Jokic. That was costly.
Though I just didn't like a lot of Denver's late game execution in this one. I mean, MPJ coughing up the rock in transition, and then that leads to a 3 ball that they give up. And
Yeah.
but before I forget, I just wanted to say, dude, on the final possession, I don't know how you felt. The fact that the Nuggets got up 2 shots and Jamal Murray didn't take either of them really just didn't sit well with me, man. Like, to me, he has earned the respect and he has the. I think Jamal Murray is just one of those clutch guys that in the big spots of games, I want him. I don't think Brown should have shot the ball, man. Like, I get that it's open and it's in rhythm, but I just would have rather
Yeah.
he got
And
the
it
ball back
wasn't
to
even
Jamal,
really in
man.
rhythm. I mean, he passed up the initial open
It
look
just
to
was kind
pump
of
fake.
he was off balance at the top of the
Yeah.
key. I just didn't, and they end up getting it back, and Jokic has an attempt, but I just wanted Jamal to get one of those shots, man. I think it was a lot of. Again, man, I think Denver just had a lot of mistakes, man, that just weren't like them in this game.
Definitely. They wanted to go fast, obviously, and Brown felt like he had a shot, but you see the hesitation with him that has been a thing in his entire career with his three-point shot, and he ends up taking a tougher look than the one that he could have had initially. But I do put a lot of this on Jokic, man, because I think a lot of the dudes around him did their jobs to win this game. I thought that Jamal didn't have it going in the fourth quarter, but still had a really productive scoring game overall and was nails as a pull-up shooter. Michael Porter Jr. did a complete 180 from his game 1 performance where his effort was apathetic. They closed with him off the floor. He has 15 rebounds. I bet you that's a playoff career high for Michael Porter Jr. He had 6 offensive rebounds. So he goes from being the lowest effort guy on the floor to the guy who's attacking the glass most aggressively. And that's a huge advantage for Denver in this matchup. We obviously saw that really decide game 1 down the stretch. And then they again cleaned up on the offensive glass. They were +8 there. So he did his job. He was efficient as a shooter as well. Russell Westbrook, God bless him, dude, knocks down those 2 huge corner threes. That's all he has to do, man. Like, if he doesn't hit those shots, the Nuggets are literally playing 4-on-5 offensively because they will send 2 to the ball on every pick and roll. They'll send 2 at Jamal. They'll surprise double Jokic. Like, they will just attack the Nuggets' best players to leave Russell Westbrook wide open in the corner. But he made both of those shots, and then he attacks the closeout in the next possession. So, like, he did his job in those minutes. It's just some of the decision-making from Jokic, some of the turnovers. Like, he forced a lob to Peyton Watson when he had a mismatch that was just way off target. There were a couple times where he spun into a surprise double and he turned it over. Then there were a number of times where I just wanted him to be more aggressive as a scorer. Like, I think when Ivica Zubac is not on the floor, Jokic has to be a killer as a scorer, man. Because I thought that the Clippers were going to play a backup center. I thought they'd play Drew Eubanks in this series. And I'm very glad for their sake that they haven't, because Ben Simmons is a way better basketball player. And like, Jokic isn't trying to attack their lack of size. Not that Drew Eubanks would really make a difference. Like, I think they're right to play Simmons no matter what. It's just in the regular season, they consistently played a backup center in the non-Zoo minutes. But Jokic walked Ben Simmons to the rim on one possession and did not look to score other than that, except he got one mismatch on a post up and basically flopped and drew a foul. But like, he has to go. He has to really punish them for being small in those minutes. But it's the last possession too, man. I mean, there's just a few spots where you feel like he doesn't really have a great sense of the spacing around him, just a little bit chaotic, just a little out of control, and basically throws the ball away. And then he's also bad from the line, as you mentioned. So if Jokic plays his best game, if Jokic plays a normal game of his, Denver wins, because the dudes around him all played pretty darn well, and he was just uncharacteristically sloppy.
Yeah, I mean that's the exact point that I was going to get to, man. Is that like that's what makes this Denver loss so disappointing? I think is every other factor I feel like for Denver went right in this game. I felt like Jamal Murray pulled his weight. MPJ, as you said, did his job. Aaron Gordon could have played a little bit better offensively, admittedly, but
Could
I
have made
thought,
that dunk, that's for
yeah,
sure.
I thought did his job tonight. And like some of the other role players, like I thought this was a good game from Peyton Watson, and we got some good Jalen Pickett minutes. Like Westbrook was good. Jokic is the reason I feel like Denver didn't get this one done, man. Like, obviously Jokic has a great game by like normal standards, but by Jokic
Right.
standards, if we're holding him to his standard, I felt like this was a pretty bad Jokic game. And I didn't feel like the Clippers threw their best punch either. I'm still waiting for the Clippers to have a really good shooting night. Like Norman Powell has yet to really put a game together end to end. Bogdanovich
Yeah,
has yet to really shoot well in this series. Like I feel like I'm waiting for the Clippers to play better too. And the Nuggets leave this one in the balance. I think this one's gonna go 7, man. This is my
I
favorite
do too.
series so far, dude. I think that and I gotta admit it too. We got a super chat, Carson, talking
Yeah,
about Kawhi being one of the best in the world. Look, I'm not gonna lie. Like the level that Kawhi's been at is a top 10 level. Like I can't deny that. Like it's only the health with Kawhi that's only been the thing, and the level that he's at is he's there. I don't have to question that, man. And it's got to be scary. Like the Clippers are a real deal contender, man. I feel like whoever comes out of this series is going to be hell to deal with, man, because they are going to be battle tested.
I agree, dude. I mean, Denver looking like a more serious defensive team, that's obviously been the battle that they have been fighting all year. Well, they haven't really been trying that hard, but now these last couple games, they've picked up their level to where they're at least a respectable defense. And then I've just been really high on the healthy Clippers. And I think we got to start talking about Kawhi and James Harden as a top 5 duo in basketball, Logan. I mean, we did that list a few months ago. I'm just happy that I had them on there, because at the time, I mean, Kawhi had just come back and it was kind of a bet on him reaching the level that he has now, because I'm a huge Kawhi believer. I just think he's so special, especially in these playoff environments. But James Harden's been playing like a top 20-ish player for several months
And
now,
even though
man. And
this
he
was
didn't
a
have his best game, but he still
exactly,
was very solid,
exactly.
still creating good offense out of pick and roll. I still think him and Zoo, such a potent duo. And like, you got to give props to Zoo for his playmaking off the short roll. I thought the Nuggets did a nice job of blowing up a couple plays, making a couple of catches difficult for Zoo, intercepting a pass that he tried to make off the short roll. But like, overall, they were still
He's a
generating
rock
good
though, man.
offense.
He's so dependable.
He is. And some really impressive hook touch shot making in this one, where he's just so special. He really is a phenomenal third player for them, but it's that duo, man. Like, if I were to ask you right now, do you want Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown to start your team from scratch, or do you want Kawhi and Harden? Like,
Well, if you're saying
presuming
for a
health
game, you're
for
saying
a
for like a
playoff
game.
run, for a playoff
Yeah,
run, if
I would
health
hear
is
you for
guaranteed.
I would hear you for Kawhi and Harden. I think the level of consistency that you get from Kawhi is just so different, man. Kawhi's dude, you said it earlier, bro. He's so efficient. Like he doesn't waste time. He doesn't waste. If
He's a
he's got
robot.
the ball in his hands, like he's just decisive, and he's unstoppable. It's crazy, bro. Like he's so damn good when available.
He is one of the greatest
What would
playoff
you give him?
scorers
Like
we
what?
have
Top
ever seen.
six, top seven? Like to me, it's like him and LeBron is what I'm debating between, or like him and a Steph. I think is like the line where I'm drawing with Kawhi. Like peak
You're
for
saying
peak
in the
right
NBA
now.
right now?
Yeah, I'm saying that's about the line that I'm drawing. I still think I'm probably taking both of those guys though.
Yeah. It's tricky because, like, I do think that Kawhi is not the player that he was a couple years ago, right? I think he still has his really high moments defensively, and he's certainly a plus there overall, but not a dominant defensive player, not getting to the rim or the line at the same rate. So, for those reasons, I would say that, like, he's in that top 12 group that is locked, right? Because I just think that there's 12 dudes who are playing at a top 10 level. I would say that top 6 or 7, that's probably a little bit high. Like, the level
Would you?
Steph's been playing at, the level I think Anthony Davis is at as a two-way force when fully healthy. I know
AD
some
and
people
him is
might push
close.
back on that. It's close. It is close. I mean, he's in all those conversations. And, like, when it comes to just playoff scoring, outside of Jokic, Shea, I don't know if I can take anybody over Kawhi Leonard just as a pure playoff scorer. Like, Luka is obviously going to make his case, but he hasn't been consistently at his best as a scorer this year. The dude is just an absolute machine. He is so dependably productive and so dependably efficient. So he's the hero of this game, obviously. He's the leading man for the Clippers. The other dude who I need to shout out is Chris Dunn, man, because what a fucking defensive game he played. He is so phenomenal, not just as a point of attack guy, but where I thought you really felt his impact in this game is as a free safety. I mean, just blowing shit up on the back end, surprise doubles on Jokic, making plays as the low man when Jokic is trying to spot cutters, like just shrinking the floor and being destructive and being unpredictable as a defensive weapon. He's really, really good. And I know that you were talking about the offensive issues in game one, and you saw them again in this one, right? I mean, he is a guy who the Nuggets should be very, very comfortable roaming off of, and I still think he's worth having on the floor. I'd hear the case for Nick
Mm-hmm.
Batum closing over him because Batum is so good, but I thought Chris Dunn was a clear positive in this game, even with his major offensive issues, because he made so many huge defensive plays.
I tend to agree. I mean, he's still a liability offensively, but you got crazy, stupendous defensive playmaking from Dunn in this game. And what I like too, man, is like little stuff, like the timing of when he's blitzing Jokic at the free throw line and stuff like that. Like, he's just so smart. It's hard
Mm-hmm.
that you can't teach defensive instincts like Dunn has, and the Clippers have a lot of good defenders, man. That's what I like about all the Clippers role players. You know, they're distinct archetypes, but they're all really, really valuable. You know, even if it is Ben Simmons or Chris Dunn, and while they're liabilities offensively, they still have decent playmaking instincts offensively, even though their tendency isn't to shoot. And then they're really impactful defensively. And then, you know, the shooters that they have, Norman Powell and Bogdan Bogdanovic. Like, again, I'm still waiting on those guys to really shoot consistently well. I get Powell gets it going late. I still think he can play way better. Both of these teams are really terrifying at full health, man. I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed at the level that both of these teams are at in this series, man. And it's never
Yeah.
I can't get a read on it, man, on what I think the rest of this series is going to play out like because it's so neck and neck. It's so close between both of these teams.
I would bet that this goes 7. I think that Jokic can be better in all of the areas that we laid out, more aggressive, especially when Zoo is off the floor, just has to make better decisions, take better care of the basketball. 20 turnovers for the Nuggets in this one just absolutely killed them, as it did for the Clippers in game one. And a lot of that was on Kawhi. He had 7 turnovers in that game. I think you feel good about the fact that MPJ is engaged again if you're the Nuggets. I think you feel really good about the level that Aaron Gordon has been at because he was so great in game one and was still really solid in this one. I think both teams honestly should just be feeling good about the basketball that they're playing. I think that James Harden is capable of having more big performances that are closer to game one than game two because I truly do not think the Nuggets can stay in front of him.
Agreed.
And so I just think his scoring ceiling is a lot higher than what he showed in this one. And his finishing was great in game one. He misses a layup in this one, but the floater's going. The three ball is
I just
mostly
think he needs
going.
to stay aggressive, man, like in
Yeah,
attack mode. Because when he is, like, he's hard to stop. I don't think the Nuggets have a good answer for him on ball.
they do not. The one guy for the Clippers who really hasn't played up to his potential is Norman Powell, who made a couple big shots in the fourth quarter of this one, but just his decision making has been pretty suspect. I thought it was worse in game one, but he has some really dynamic offensive potential as an off-ball scorer that I don't think we've really seen fully unlocked. But they've just got a nice rotation, man. I mean, Batum is still giving you phenomenal minutes, good defensive performance in this one. He hits another no dip three. Bogey's the other guy who really hasn't played very well. Like he's not making shots and he's a target defensively. But I feel the same way that I did coming into this series, which is that it's just a little bit harder for the Nuggets to slow down the Clippers than vice versa. That margin has shrunk even a little from where it was before the series to me because the Nuggets have just been more engaged. I think this has been some of the better defense that we've seen from them, but I still think that the Clippers have the higher two-way ceiling, and that's going to be the reason that I think they narrowly get through this series. But I say it's on a best first round trajectory that we've seen. Like, it's there, man. They keep this up. You think Knicks Sixers last year, you think Mavs Clippers in 2021, that was absolutely electric. You think, of course, Bulls Celtics in 2009, you think Clips Spurs in 2015. Those are like the first handful that
Mm.
come to mind for me, but just the quality of basketball and how tight these first two games have been, and just the stars on the floor, man, Kawhi and Harden and Jokic all playing at such a high level. It's really, really phenomenal stuff to watch. We've got another super chat, this one from Stringer. Flopping in the NBA is tiring. First Brunson, now Yoke. I think we'll get to the Brunson talk. This was a nasty showing from him. Jokic also just throwing his body around in this one. I mean, definitely trying to elicit calls. I wouldn't put them in the same category because what I would say is Jokic is just emphasizing contact. He is dramatizing contact so that officials see it. Brunson is going out of his way to create contact that is illegitimate, that is unnatural in terms of being a actual shot attempt, a natural basketball motion. That to me is more problematic. Both of them are flopping. One of them is really, really foul grifting, though, and that's Brunson.
I'm okay with it, like when a guy pump fakes and gets a dude off his feet or something like that, and if he gets into where he was going to jump
I
into. But
know
I don't like, I don't ever like when a guy is just jumping into someone or like just
100%.
the difference is like when it's super deliberate. Honestly, the worst offender to me that come to mind is like Reeves. Austin Reeves is the first guy that I always think of about doing it, and then Trey Young. And my argument is always if you
Brunson's in that top tier, man. He is.
if you want them to stop doing it, then the refs just have to stop awarding the players for playing like that. Then guys will stop doing it. Like then you just let them turn the ball over and then they can complain about it, but they'll learn. Like I just don't think you should reward that style of play.
I completely agree. The officials said years ago that they were going to stop rewarding those sort of unnatural launch angles by offensive players, and they haven't done that, obviously. So I just thought that sucked. I couldn't agree with you more, man. Like, if you pump fake a dude and he jumps into your landing space, that is obviously a foul. That's good, crafty basketball. When you pump fake a dude and then you lean and jump forward into his space, that is not a defensive foul. And we have to stop calling that a defensive foul. And Brunson got two big ones of those in the fourth quarter. So sometimes I think, like, the foul baiting narrative is overplayed when people complain about it. But listen, it's certainly more prevalent in today's NBA than it ever has been before. And Brunson is, like, truly one of the nastiest grifters that there is. And this was a really nasty performance from him on that front. And we'll talk about that after some quick words from DraftKings. The NBA 82 game grind is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and it's time for all the high stakes drama, clutch moments, and jaw dropping plays. I can't wait. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered as an official sports betting partner of the NBA. From the play-in games all the way through to the finals, now's the time to back your favorite players and teams as they chase glory.
All season long, DraftKings has been the go-to spot for NBA player props, and that doesn't stop now. Want to make your playoff experience even more intense? Try placing a bet on your favorite player's performance. Will they drop 30 points, 40, or more? It's your call. Ready to place your first bet? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now, lock in your bets, and let's make this playoff run unforgettable.
Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code NERDS. That's code NERDS for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Knicks Pistons, Logan. This is another series that has a vibe to it that I'm really enjoying. It's nasty, it's gritty, it's tough. And the Detroit Pistons went out there and they evened things up just like the Clippers. So we got both these series sitting at a game apiece. This was a bounce back performance from Cade Cunningham. Logan struggled in game one, comes out in this one, puts up 33 points, goes 11 of 21 from the field. What did you think made the difference for him, and how huge was that for Detroit in this one and potentially going forward?
I mean, I thought Cade was the difference in this game. I thought he was the best player on the court. And I feel bad for doubting if Cade's game was going to scale to the playoffs. I mean, Cade was clanging and banging in this game. I mean, just going through the chest repeatedly of Bridges, of Hart, attacking downhill, dominating in transition, consistently staying aggressive. And I really thought he weaponized his strength well. And then he was killing them with his pull-up shooting in his intermediate game. I liked how he adjusted to OG Anunoby guarding him on ball as well. I thought he was trying to beat him more with deception and quickness and speed in this game. And he did beat him with his strength as well, too. And that's why Cade is just one of the premier building blocks in the NFL, in the NBA, man, in the league.
Could be. Hell of an
Could
athlete.
be, man. 6'7", big dude. I don't know, man. Maybe throw him out there wide out.
6'7".
He's just going to keep getting stronger, man. And he's brilliant. He's got such great feel. He's a plus defender. And he was so impactful on the glass in this game. But he was way more poised in this game than game one, and he's only going to get more comfortable. He's got such a promising future. I'm so excited for Detroit that they got their guy, but I've got more points to talk about. But Cade was the best player on the court in this game, man, and I'm just so impressed, dude. I couldn't be happier with the level that we've gotten out of Cade and the level that we've gotten out of Paolo early in these playoffs, man. I'm so impressed with these young guys.
It was a much improved performance from Cade, and that wasn't a coincidence. I thought that he and the Pistons made a number of adjustments that made life easier on him offensively, because in game one, where did he really struggle? Cat consistently coming up to the level, him seeing two defenders, these aggressive pick and roll coverages out of a lot of stagnant pick and rolls. He was turning the ball over. He looked uncomfortable. He looked out of his element. And then he was struggling to really beat OG one-on-one because OG is an excellent man defender and Cade doesn't have the strength advantage against OG that he's used to. So it was those couple of areas in which he really struggled. And I thought that the Pistons and Cade approached this game in a way that minimized how much he had to deal with those couple of things and like just created easy opportunities for him elsewhere. Like you especially saw this in the first half. They have a number of handoffs that flow into pick and roll so you can get Cade a running start versus OG. So now he's already headed downhill and you have an advantage. Just easier for him to create separation, to get a step when you give him that head start. Also, so many guards setting screens for him, especially Jalen Brunson's man, which is just good process, man. Involve Jalen Brunson in the action because they can't switch that, or they don't want to a vast majority of the time, at least, because that's barbecue chicken for Cade. So Brunson is like showing, but he's not really getting a body on Cade, right? He's just like showing so briefly, and then he's running out to make sure that the guard who screened doesn't get an open three off the pop. But like nobody's really in front of Cade initially after the screen, so he's able to get a pretty good runway into some pull-up jumpers. That was easier offense for him. If he had a guard screen for him and then he got the Josh Hart or the Mikal Bridges switch, he was aggressive working in isolation against those guys who he does have a size and strength advantage against, and he was successful in doing so. And maybe the biggest thing, man, playing fast. He had 10 transition points in this game. That's his most in a game in the last month and a half. So you're not facing a set defense that is fully engineered to stop you, that is more worried about you than anybody else. You're getting those opportunities in the full court, clean spacing with a head of steam. And so I just thought he was able to hunt much easier offense. It's not like he suddenly just was able to cook OG one-on-one. You mentioned the deception stuff. I did think he did a nice job of setting him up a couple times, rejecting screens. Like it was a really crafty game from Cade, but for the most part, like it's just finding the easier opportunities, man. What I always say is you don't get style points. The tough ones don't count for more. Like find easy offense where you can in the NBA. And I thought Cade did a significantly better job of that in this one.
I think long term, I'm excited. Like he's so strong already, and I just don't think there are going to be many guys in the NBA that are going to be able to deal with Cade one-on-one. Specifically, not to the level of Paolo, and that's why I prefer, I think, building around Paolo long-term because he's even more of a physical freak, but very much so in the fact that he's going to be stronger than a lot of guys guarding him, even those like good defensive wings that are thinner, like a Mikal Bridges. But he's going to be faster than a lot of guys on ball too. And a lot of these lineups, though, like you're talking about with Jalen Brunson, if you've got a small guard and that's the matchup that Cade's drawing, or if you can get that switch, like it's just something he can attack every time. And he's not a weak point on defense. Like I'm so excited about Cade long term, man. I'm so excited the trajectory that he's on and how far along he already is and how impactful he is in winning basketball games at such a young age, man. And the fact that Detroit has just put good basketball players around him and the difference that it really has made. I also do want to give credit to Detroit's defense in this game, though. I think that Cade played a really great game. I think that he was the best player on the floor, but I thought the Pistons really made life difficult on New York in this game and specifically dominated the glass. They win the rebounding battle 48-3, 34 total. But Duran, Cade, Tobias Harris, all of them, I thought put in work. They were winning the hustle and energy plays. And I was a little bit confused, Carson. I thought the Knicks should have played more Mitchell Robinson, man. I didn't really get that. You only get 20 minutes. I don't know when they're beating you so physically. And this is a game where Detroit doesn't even have Isaiah Stewart out there. So I just thought that, I don't know, man, play more Mitchell Robinson, move Cat to the 4. Like, I just thought they could have used a more physical presence, a guy that can set the tone and be a little bit more physical down there And I was disappointed with the Knicks offensively too, but I think you got to give credit to Detroit and how hard they played on that end.
Yeah.
Also, the one complaint I have for Detroit and the one maybe it's an X factor for Detroit, and I think it is. It's probably the biggest difference maker. Is just going to be their ability to close out these games. New
Mm-hmm.
York goes on a 12-2 run in the fourth quarter for 4 minutes, and the Pistons offense just outlasts New York. We touched on this briefly last episode about this game, but I think the guy that's going to make this difference is Dennis Schroeder. I think he is probably going to be the difference maker. He has 9 fourth quarter points, he has 2 fourth quarter threes, and he's got a super clutch 3 in this one. And the
Yeah.
Knicks could have very easily won this game as well. Bridges and Brunson missed some open clutch threes. But while I mention that too, Malik Beasley also misses an open corner 3, but
Mm-hmm.
the Pistons played better ball, through 3 quarters. And I thought they did last game too. I mean, the scoreboard said so as well. It's just going to be who can execute more in these higher leverage moments. I thought the Knicks let them off the hook in this one. I thought Brunson could have been a little bit better. I was disappointed with Cat. Cat
Yeah.
does not attempt a field goal in the fourth quarter. He gives you 10 points. Bridges goes 0 of 4 in the fourth quarter. So I thought the Knicks could have executed better. Brunson has 6 turnovers on the game. I thought he could have protected the ball a little bit better. But who's going to be able to execute better offensively in these clutch moments? I'm looking to Dennis Schroeder if I'm Detroit, and I think there's a lot to look better in the rest of the series for the Knicks offense.
I'm kind of just like, why am I not looking to Cade Cunningham? I thought Detroit's clutch offensive process was super weird, man. Like, especially once it gets back to being a really close game in the last couple minutes, the 2 possessions before Schroeder hits that big 3, why is the ball not in Cade's hands? Like, OG is denying him off ball, but if Cade really wants to, he can go get that ball. Like, I just think those are his plays, man. That's where you need your best player to go out there and be dictating. And he didn't really seem to want to. And then on the possession that led to there's the Schroeder possession, and then you have the possession where Cade draws to, makes the right play, finds Schroeder, and
Kicks.
then he finds Beasley for a wide open 3, which Beasley missed. But like, that was a good Cade possession. He made the right decision. He had the ball in his hands, but I just want him to be aggressive in those spots. And like, I'm a little bit nervous when the ball is out of his hands, and Schroeder is definitely the most capable guy to step up, but I still would just rather that be Cade Cunningham. So that was kind of my nitpick of this Cade performance. Also, still 5 turnovers, didn't take great care of the basketball in the first half, but like, just step up, man. This is your moment. There's a reason that you're entrusted with so much offensive responsibility. And I felt like he kind of shied away from that. And the Pistons got away with it. Schroeder made a big shot, but it was very dicey there.
Well, I mean, and Cade is the reason that they were in the spot that they were in. But I agree with you. He's got to step up and take them across the finish line and not be afraid. Also, the Pistons have got to shoot better, and they've got to help Cade out and relieve some of this pressure on him by shooting better. I thought the Knicks did a good job of trying to take away some of those shots, but Beasley going 1 of 8. I just think you need guys around Cade to help him out and shoot a little bit better. But this was the classic Detroit recipe, man. It was defense, muddy the water, make it nasty, make it gritty. I thought they out-gritted New York and out-physicaled them. I thought this was Detroit's identity, I thought, was on full display in this one, man. And they imposed their will on New York in this game. Like, they're playing some East Coast basketball in this one, man. Really physical, really nasty, and
Playing some Detroit Pistons basketball, man.
for real.
Like
And
all the great Pistons teams we've ever seen.
I'm happy for the Pistons as well, man. This snaps a 15-game drought, the longest, I think, in the NBA, but a 17-year playoff drought, man. They hadn't won a playoff game since 2008.
Believe it or not, Andre Drummond is not getting you there.
Bro, you're talking Mark Sanchez, like,
Yeah.
Seattle Mariners territory, man. You don't want to be there.
No, you do not want to be there. I did think the shooting was bad for sure. THJ and Malik Beasley going 1 of 14 combined is brutal. But like Schroeder did step up. He made some perimeter shots. He was able to consistently get penetration. And like they needed his 20 points in this game. Tobias Harris, another productive day as a scorer and on the glass. And I thought Jalen Duren was really good. I mean, phenomenal on the glass. And I thought that offensive rebounding advantage was huge for Detroit in this one.
He had
And then
that
Duren
clutch.
also
He had that
protected the
clutch.
rim really well.
He had that clutch roll to the hoop where, like, if they don't play the, I thought OG didn't play that coverage right. I thought he should have tagged the roll man instead of going with the ball handler because
Mhm.
they were switching well, and I'm like, there's nobody on the backside who can blow that up except for you. So I thought that was a mistake on his part in the clutch. But Duran's, he's solid, and when he can be impactful as a rim protector and as a
Yeah.
rebounder at such a high level, even though he's just a simple play finisher, you gotta be there because if you're not, if you just leave him open, he's gonna make you pay, man. He's impressive too for being as young as he is.
Yeah, and he's got a little passing feel as well. This has been a good showing from him so far in this series. I think he's improved defensively this season overall. And the other dude who I think deserves a shout out for his defensive performance is Asar Thompson, man, who I thought was giving Jalen Brunson fits, was getting in his head. And I said coming into this series, like he has the exact profile of the ideal Brunson defender. You want the guy who is bigger, more athletic, longer, but still super quick, can stick with him. Like those are the guys who can just force Brunson into really, really difficult shot diets. And I thought he was doing that. It's a bummer that he fouls out of this game because I thought a couple of the calls I didn't love. I mean, the one after the inbound where I don't know. I thought Brunson was hooking his arm, and then obviously he fouls out on Brunson jumping into him. That was just nasty work. But like Asar is really well equipped for this matchup. Also,
Brunson's cheeky, man. He's cheeky. I didn't like when he definitely hooked the hell out of Asar's arm, man. That was
yeah.
I'd be a little hot if I was Asar.
And then he threw up the 6 when he fouled him out. I was like, all right, bro. Is this really a flex? Like, you're doing whatever it takes to get this dude out of the game because he's giving you fits.
I mean, and they lost, so.
And they did end up losing. I did not think this was a very good Jalen Brunson game. Even though he got his numbers, like, it's not that it was unethical because, like, that's
I
annoying for
mean,
the
I feel
viewer.
like
That doesn't affect the performance.
I'm more disappointed in Cat and Bridges in this game, though.
Here's the thing, man. Brunson iced everyone out of this game. Like, I don't know how much blame to put on Cat for not being more aggressive, which I thought he absolutely should have been. At the same time, Brunson is playing extremely selfish basketball. There's a couple times where he just missed Cat wide open off the pop, and the 6 turnovers were ugly, man. And Jalen Brunson is normally a very low turnover player, but he's trying to at times force the handle when he's got 2 on him, or he's driving into traffic with his head down and he's getting tied up, or he's losing the ball in those spots. So he had his great stretch in the fourth quarter where like he got them back into the game because he makes 4 straight shots, he draws 2 fouls, and then he finds Josh Hart off the double team. That was a really, really great Brunson stretch. But overall, he wasn't efficient individually. The team offense wasn't efficient. And like nobody else got involved in the half court because Brunson really wouldn't let them. And the Pistons did a good job on him. Like Asar was doing a really good job before he fouled out, but just overall, like they have the sort of length and they have the athletes that give Brunson trouble. Schroeder is a really good Brunson defender. It was just a weird game from him. It felt like an I don't trust my teammates kind of game. And it felt like he was trying to prove something at times and just like force his way through. I just thought it wasn't a good offensive approach for the Knicks in this game. And I do put some of that on Brunson, even though he was the guy who was productive as a scorer. Cat, it's just frustrating that he wasn't more involved. And again, like, I don't know exactly how much blame to put on who for that, but he's got 0 points on 0 for 3 shooting in the second half. And it's just so peculiar because I thought he was phenomenal offensively for the first game and a half of this series because they're guarding with Tobias Harris, man. I mean, they want Duran on Hart so he can roam off and he can be consistently a presence in the paint. And Cat has obviously big physical advantages over Tobias Harris, and he was getting buckets. Now, some of them are like tough runners and whatnot, but Cat's pretty damn good at those shots. I felt like he was under control. I thought that he was doing a nice
Exactly.
job of catching the ball pretty deep, right? It's not those Cat ISOs where it's, oh, let me catch the ball at the 3-point line and I'm going to dribble 8, 10 times and then things can start to get out of control. It's like, no, I'm going to catch the ball within 12, 15 feet. I'm going to get to one of my bread and butter moves. If it's the runner, he had a possession in this game where he literally just walked Harris down 4 dribbles into an easy little post hook. Like, I love those shots for Cat, and you have to punish them for putting Tobias Harris on you. And he just totally stopped. So I was disappointed. I was absolutely disappointed in Cat. They need more out of him, and they have to figure that out collectively going forward.
Well, that's the point to me. Don't get me wrong. I think Brunson's a better player than Karl Anthony Towns, but Towns is the guy that can exert his physical advantages over other players on Detroit more easily, right?
Yeah,
You
he's
would
got the
understand
better matchup.
Exactly. You would understand why Brunson would struggle in a matchup like this where he's going up against the Nassar Thompson, where he's going up against the Cade Cunningham. This is going to be a hard series for him. So that's why I am more disappointed in Cat. It's like Cat is the guy that has not the easier job, but the chance to abuse his mismatch more easily. I don't think Tobias Harris can hold him. I think that if they keep putting him on there, I'm feeding him the rock, and I'm playing off of that. And I'm, and again, I think the Detroit defense did a good job overall, like in general. They played a really good game, and they dominated the glass. And I think that was a massive difference in this game, too, where I don't know if that's Mitchell Robinson. I don't know if that's Anunoby and Bridges just need to be better there. I'm probably going more Mitchell Robinson for sure. They have to be better on the glass, but Cat's got to be better, man. He's the X factor to me. He's the guy that can make the difference for the Knicks in this series. I know what I'm going to get out of Brunson, and he might be a little bit inefficient. He might turn the ball over. He's going to give me the volume scoring. I need Cat to pull his weight, man. And I've turned a corner on Cat, man. I'm rooting for Cat, and so I'm just a little bit disappointed after this game.
Yeah, it's a disappointing performance from the Knicks overall, like from basically everybody. I think the positive takeaway is you have these weird games from both of your stars. You shoot 28% from 3, and still at the end of this, like, you had the shots to steal this game. Mikal gets a great look from 3 to tie it, and he had another great look in transition a minute or 2 before that. And then, like, even when they're down 4 and they're not in a great position to win the game, but Brunson gets a wide open 3 off the ATO and just misses.
Yeah.
So I do think they have more margin. I do think they have more offensive talent. I do think that they're the better team. And I do think that their stars can play better going forward. So, like, I wouldn't be ringing the panic alarm here if I'm the Knicks, but it's definitely big for Detroit to steal a game. It's definitely big for Cade to look more comfortable. Cade wasn't as impactful as a playmaker as he often is. It felt like he honestly wasn't really looking to facilitate.
Deliberate. That felt deliberate by the Knicks, though, and that also felt deliberate by Cade.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. I do still trust Brunson to produce more in this matchup than Cade. And I do think that Cat has a favorable matchup. He just has to maximize it. And like, they have to be comfortable giving him more than a handful of post ups a game, because that's where he's going to really have his biggest impact in this series offensively.
Yeah, but I mean, when we were previewing this series, I was closer to Knicks in 7 than I was Knicks in 5, man. I think the Pistons are here. I think they're here to battle, man. Like, the Pistons are out to make a statement, and this is a team
They're tough as hell.
Tough as nails, man. They've got an identity. They've got their leader. They've got their rock. Like, I like what the Pistons have going for them right now, man. They're on the rise, and they're not going to make this easy for New York, man. They're not just going to cave. I do think that late game execution is what's going to make the difference in this series. It's going to be a test for Cade, and maybe Cade passed the test and knocks the Knicks off, and maybe Schroeder can give them enough in these big moments that'll put the Pistons over the top, and their defense and Cade will carry them through. But I'm betting on Brunson to out-execute them in the big moments. I'm betting on Cat to play better. I'm betting on the Knicks to shoot better, too. I think the Pistons will shoot better than they did in this game as well. I thought this was a bad shooting night for both teams, but I'm going to bet on the Knicks to execute a little bit better than Detroit. And they need to play Mitchell Robinson, man. I'm telling you, 20 minutes to me is not enough in a series like this.
Well, it's just tough when you have a center who you want to play 35 plus minutes. I think the double
I
big
think you
looks
just move Towns
work
to.
in
I
this
think
matchup.
that's why I think you look at him. I think Towns works at the 4.
Yeah, I think that Mitch has been impressive. I think he's such a good defensive player. I think he's really good on the glass. There was one possession where you see like Tobias Harris is able to use his quickness advantage when the Knicks are in the double big look, just because, like, if you have that sort of speed on the perimeter, you can take advantage of two slower footed guys on the floor. But I don't really think the Pistons are the team to do that overall. So I like the double big looks. I would agree. I don't think 20 minutes for Mitch is egregious, though. I mean, he got out there good amount. And he made his impact on this game. One thing for the Pistons, just broadly, got to take better care of the basketball. It's mostly Cade, honestly, but it's everybody. Like the first game, that was a huge problem. This game, they have 15 turnovers, some of them in transition, just like sloppy with the basketball, just mistakes that you can't really be making. Like, I do think that for a majority of both of these games, they've been the better team, and yet they lost game one and they were dangerously close to losing this one just because of some of those execution things and some of their offensive issues and just not being as reliable on that side of the ball. Those are advantages for the Knicks. Anything else that you want to say before we wrap this puppy up, Logan?
Nas Reed.
Naz Reid plays basketball tomorrow against the Los Angeles Lakers. And is it true, Logan, that we're going to be back here after that game? Is it true we're going to talk about that game and all the action tomorrow?
I think I heard the same thing. I read
Holy
about that in the
crap,
paper.
man. Holy crap, that's going to be awesome. I cannot get enough of these two series with the LA teams, man. I really can't. I think that these are both so unbelievably fun and can't wait to see what all these teams have in store for us the rest of the way. If you want to join us for the rest of this journey throughout the NBA playoffs, then you know where to find us on YouTube. You can find all of our full shows, all of our post-game recordings live, of course. And you can see all of our video essays and video breakdown content that we do. You can also listen to the podcast across all audio platforms, and you can follow us across social, TikTok and Instagram at NerdSesh, and Twitter at Nerd_Sesh. And if you want to be part of our community, you can join our Discord and chat with the gang there. So with that, as always, appreciate you guys. I've been Carson Brabber.
I've been Logan Camden.
And this was Nerd Sesh.